Welcome to the Rad Dad Redemption Podcast. Here's your hosts, Drew and Dex.
Gotta get all my stuff nice and close, settling in for episode 15.
You gotta get comfy. You've had a tough road to recovery.
I've had a week.
You honestly, you still look like shit.
Well, it's par for the course.
But let me clarify. You look actually really good. You look like you've had a shitty time, but you look like you're actually a very fit individual right now. What's going on?
I did a lot of pooping out of my butt, whether I liked it or not, for a good 48 hours.
The involuntary butt
poop.
Poop.
It was like there's no stopping it. There's no controlling it. And yeah, I lost 8 pounds in the span of 48 hours.
So, okay, we're going to get right into the poop jokes, guys. This is a Pooptacular episode.
Oh yeah. There's the name right there.
Highbrow stuff. So what happened?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it was some type of food poisoning. My wife will tell you that it's because I ate like an ungodly amount of Costco food.
Oh, I did hear 2 stories for sure.
Yeah. So here's my wife's story. And you know what? She's probably right. She usually is.
I heard your story, and then she was over for book club, and I heard her account.
Yeah. So her account is, and this is fully accurate. I just don't know if it's what made me sick. We went to Costco on Tuesday night last week. All right. So we're recording this on Monday night. We're basically a week removed. We went to Costco and we were like, we're doing Costco dinner. And I was stoked. We're going to do our Costco shop, go to the food court. And I hadn't eaten all day, like literally had not eaten all day. So I was starving. So I was like, all right, get me a Polish hot dog.
You went Polish?
I always go Polish.
You never go all beef?
Sometimes, but I like the Polish.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was like, get me a poutine that I will share with you, Alicia. But like, it was not a 50-50 split on the poutine, if we're being honest.
Okay. Item 1, item 2.
And then Kennedy got one of those big old slices of pizza, which she did not finish, which I proceeded to finish for her. So I effectively had like, I'm going to say a 2 full Costco meals.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like shockingly on Wednesday, tummy wasn't feeling too good, but like I was still holding it together. It was like, oh, like I did damage to my body last night. Like I ate 2,000 calories in one sitting. Right. And then it was like Wednesday night, Thursday morning. I was like, okay, like definitely not just like lingering effects of eating a lot of food in one sitting. I think I'm genuinely like a little sick. And then Thursday night, was really bad. Like I was like fetal position, like up every hour. Yeah, it was brutal. And then Friday was also pretty bad. But I was feeling better by kind of Friday night. Still wasn't really eating anything that day other than like bananas and applesauce. You know those?
Yeah, I do.
Those go-go squeezes.
Applesauce,
yeah.
The squeeze pouch.
Well, and then we went and played the golf tournament together with our moms on Saturday morning. And I was just like scared to eat anything other than bananas and applesauce. So I brought like my kids' go-go squeezes. If you got kids, you know what I'm talking about. You buy the pack at Costco. I was, drinking those back and eating a banana.
We're pouring shots of birdie juice, and Dex is uncorking his go-go squeeze pouch to have a little num-num on the course.
Oh, I had to take care of my body. And I was so tired that day. Like by the end, I could barely swing a club.
Yeah, I had the same problem in terms of swinging a club, but it was not about the glizzy sickness. So okay, yeah, no, that's
my wife's story.
Yeah,
and like she maintains it was like Costco. I refuse that Costco could ever do anything wrong.
Yeah,
but like it's funny because like my daughter, she picks up on these conversations, but she, she's got the brain of a 5-year-old, so she can't quite like translate it. And so like one day I was like kind of not feeling great, and Kennedy was like, "Dad, you ate too much Costco." And I was like, it's very reductive. Thank you.
No such thing. Yeah, so I think maybe I framed it in a way that made it look like you told a very different story. So I'm realizing the elements that like I played the variable that I am in this situation, because I think when I saw your wife, I was like, "Hey, how's Dex feeling?" And she's like, "Fine. What do you mean?" And I was like, "Well, he's pretty sick. Like he had that bad hot dog." And that's how I was like telling the story. I was like, "Yeah, Dex ate a really gross glizzy, and he's feeling poor." And then I think she must have taken from that you said you ate a bad hot dog, and she was like, "No, he had pizza. He had a poutine. He had a Polish. The picture she painted after I said, you had a bad hot dog was that like the family goes into Costco, you show your ID, and they're like, okay, we're going to go to this aisle first. And you're like, I need a minute. And you just immediately go through the cashiers to the Costco cafeteria. I'm going to get a pizza, 18-inch, an entire one. I'll get 13 Polish hot dogs, poutine, and I'll wash it down with one of each flavor sundae.
Honestly, that's a better story, and it's not even that far off the truth. Like,
because you did come back for Appies. You went and did the samples too.
Oh yeah.
There were some samples. What kind of food did you sample? Come on.
Actually, I don't think there's many food samples out that day. You know what pisses me off about Costco is when they've got like a sample of laundry detergent that you can take home and do one load of laundry with. I think one day I'm just to teach him a lesson. I'm going to
fucking eat it. You're going to do the Tide Pod challenge live.
Oh yeah.
I come here for snacks, sir. Please.
Why would you give a sample of a Tide Pod? Who thought this was a good idea? My throat's just absolutely eviscerated. Yeah.
Oh, that's a I think you should leave now sketch, and you're just like Ralphing in front of them. This is just full poisoned. Oh, I like that. That's some live content. We might need to actually let's keep working that bit. Okay. All right. So you were sick and drinking the squeeze pouch or eating the squeeze pouch, which I thought was crazy because you're like, I can't have anything else. I can't keep anything down. And I was like, applesauce is not the food that I would go to. Like, I'm pretty sure like mashed up fruit. Like, wait for the jingle, but I think like just like mashed up fruit, like that is doo-doo sauce. That is how you poop lots.
I think it regulates you. I think that's what fiber does.
Regulate us.
Yeah. So if like you're having trouble going, get some fruit and fiber in you. It'll help regulate you. If you are going and you cannot stop it, I think some fiber, some fruit and veggies is a good option. Again, what do I know about health? I'm literally just finished telling the story about my giant Costco meal. So I'm like sitting here like...
But you're the picture of health. Look at you. You lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the way to do it.
I was like, what'd you order? I think I actually told you. I was like, what?
You told me to come spit in your mouth.
Come spit in my mouth. I want what you've got. I'll take 8-pound swing. Heck yeah. Yeah, we went and played that golf tournament, which is a nice segue. Quick aside, we did well. Like, I thought...
We were 3 under.
We were 3 under in a scramble. So, like, we had 1 bogey. And that was, like, just a miscalculation. We weren't paying attention because we'd paid the mulligan pool. So, we essentially could have finished 4 under or better because Dex wasn't feeling well. And I play the game like a sheet. But we had, like, a good round. And I didn't think we were going to win. I didn't think we were going to, like, take home the championship. But I was excited because we were 3 under and our team's handicap was 12. So, I thought, okay, like... We're going to be like top 10. We're going to be in the pack. The winning score was 26 under par.
Okay, but here's the thing with a scramble. The winner is whoever can mentally come to grips with cheating the most.
Isn't that like that's a thing?
That's a scramble.
Whoever's most comfortable walking up in front of 100 people and getting their Pro Shop gift card.
Well, and you know what? So full credit to the Nant Golf Course.
Great course. Love them.
Yeah,
they sponsor our show.
Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah.
They did it right. They didn't give out huge prizes for people for position like first, second, third, fourth. It was, they got a couple sleeves of balls and a hat or a nice polo, but it wasn't like, hey, it's like $1,000 prize and there's like really big incentive to cheat. So like you weren't really rewarded for cheating other than to say that you won the tournament. But the bigger prizes were the draw prizes, and you actually got one.
I did, and I was stoked. So I'm actually being like a little bitch because I walked away with a sick prize, had a super fun day. It was great to hang with your mom. I like hanging out with my mom too. It was a good
it was a good crew. It was a good crew.
Mothers
Sans
and sons.
me. Everybody else seemed to be having a lot more fun than I was.
I had a no fun vibe from you. I never held that against you. There's a little tension here tonight.
Yeah.
It's a little thick in the room.
Golf-related tension.
A little golf-related tension. We'll get to that.
Red Dead Redemption Civil War.
Yeah, honestly. We'll get to that. But I think it's an interesting play because you're absolutely right. Whoever's the most comfortable, whoever's the most gutless cheater wins that tournament. That's why the only tournaments that are worth anything are the championships. Like you got to go and play men's house championship.
Somebody else is keeping your score, counting your strokes, keeping you honest. Yeah.
And you're not doing foot wedges. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, I'm not professing that like we played the most honest game. I might have moved the odd shot. Okay, I'm human. I was just surprised. I was aghast.
I actually thought we played really honestly for a scramble tournament.
Yeah, I was taken aback, but I did notice that. Now that you say that, the draw prizes were sick. One like a wicked bag.
Yeah.
And there was some other cool stuff that they gave away, but the winners got like a set of nice sweaters, his and hers sweaters, and it must be like because they've had problems with that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's anybody that follows like some of these golf social media accounts, it was like a couple months ago there was this big controversy because there was a scramble tournament and the winners came in at like a fucking not even net gross 48. So like you're talking basically birdieing or eagling every single hole.
I was gonna say the only holes you didn't birdie were the holes you eagled.
Yeah, basically. and people were booing them but the prize was quite sizable. It was a good amount of cash. So there is like an incentive to cheat. But that's on the tournament organizers because I have played in a scramble tournament where there was some big cash up for grabs, but you played on the same hole as another team at the same time. And it was the slowest fucking round I've ever played in my entire life. But that's the only way to guarantee that people aren't going to cheat.
Accountability.
Right? There has to be some type of accountability. Because if you start putting up money, big money, for a scramble tournament and you don't have any type of accountability, it's not hard to find 4 people that will get together to cheat. Right? Like that's and I don't even blame them. Like if you're going to take advantage of the system, go for it. I personally wouldn't, but like that's on the tournament organizers if they set it up that way.
The other thing that was on the tournament organizers was that they organized a second tournament
at the same time.
We got to hole 15 and it was a parking lot. Yeah. There was absolutely a moment where there were, I want to say,
there was 5 groups on the hole.
5 groups.
3 of us on the tee and then 2 actually playing the hole.
Yeah. Like someone's on the green, someone's on the fairway, someone's on the tee box, and there's 2 more groups behind us.
Yeah.
And it starts pouring like thunder rolls. I'm like, this is a disaster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they failed to mention that there was another tournament out there. Remember when I hit it close to the pin on number 3 there? And
you filled out the marker.
I filled out the marker, and then I was like, that's weird. Like, they didn't say that there was a closest to the pin challenge on number 3. Now, maybe it's my fault that I didn't look at the title of the tournament, but fuck me for thinking like we might actually be the only tournament on the course at that time.
Well, and let's be honest, no one's out there, except for these guys that really wanted the sweatshirts, no one's out there on a scramble Saturday to be like, I'm going to play my best golf. Like, I knew what I was doing. I was drinking.
They're there to have a good time.
Yeah, that was my MO. So that was interesting. I do wonder if the next tournaments, like when they were giving their prizes, that they were just like little crickets when Dex Dunford won the closest 2.
Oh, I hope somebody beat that one.
It wasn't that
good.
Wasn't that close.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. Dex is recovering. But in keeping with golf, okay?
There's a debate.
It's not a debate. It's a thing that I dislike. And so Dex and I are in this men's league because we love playing golf, and we kind of did this through the winter playing in VR, and then it was your idea. You're like, yo, let's keep this going. Let's like sign up, play outside. Let's go outside, and we'll get a couple buddies and we'll get a couple subs, and we'll do this men's league. And it's a great league. Love the course. Everything's going well, but we keep running into weeks where we don't have 4 guys. We can't confirm our regulars, and we can't confirm our subs, and so we end up playing this game because you've become the de facto team captain. I'm definitely VP in that situation, and we have to play this game of like who's gonna play, who can we text. But what we failed to do today, and it's happened before, is communicate with each other. So herein lies the issue, and maybe someone can email in about this topic.
Settle a debate.
You know?
And I think we don't want to attack each other because we're good friends. And we're
fuck you.
Anyway, we don't want to attack each other.
Break a leg, fatty. You fat fucking idiot. Oh my god. Yeah. But no, you are. I think you are a huge piece of shit.
We can both say that we love each other. And there was a breakdown in communications where I sent a text saying, hey, these guys might be in, or they might be a possibility. But like in the background, I'm sure we're both doing this, texting like everybody we know that golfs. Because it's tomorrow, and it's kind of like last minute. So even if you find somebody who's like, I totally would, they might not have the schedule that allows them to do that. So I was like, these guys might be in. So I hear through a bird, and I meanwhile turn and start texting some other people because I don't have a personal relationship with these guys. You do.
Yeah. No, and therein lies the issue is that we're both spending time mitigating this potential, horrendous occurrence where we show up to men's league and we don't have 4 guys. Like, could you believe a world where that would happen?
I don't know why we take it so serious, because we're pretty far down the standings.
We're fucking losing. We're last place. It doesn't matter. But we're both spending this like requisite amount of time to find these golfers, and then we didn't communicate. And then this is what I hate. This is where the tension comes into play. Is I procured a player and admittedly did not
communicate that.
Did not immediately say, Dex, I've got someone, and Dex procured a player. And then we basically...
But as soon as he confirmed, I confirmed with you.
Yes, but I had since confirmed and was under the impression that we were going that route. So anyway, dust in the wind, as they fucking say.
We did have to go back to one person and be like, sorry, you can't fucking
That's
play.
the one. So you get Buddy fired up. That's the thing. So that's what happened today. So text Buddy like, hey, got a men's league, need a 4th. Are you in? What time's the tee time? Oh, it's 5:00. Oh, pretty early, but I could move some stuff. Yeah. Move it. Go ahead. We need you. All right. Let me talk to my wife. Gets back to me. Yeah. I talked to my wife. She's gonna watch the kid. We're gonna move this around. Like, I'm there. This is gonna be great. Can't wait to see you guys. I'm surprised you even thought of me. Yeah, no worries, man. Like, always wanted to get out golfing with you. Like, this is gonna be a great time. It'll be great to see you. Like, thanks for helping us out. And then I immediately have to phone the dude and be like, so remember that whole exchange 5 minutes ago? We're good. And like, he's an adult man, and he was very much like, yeah, it's all good. I'm not butthurt. He even said that, I'm not butthurt.
Okay, well, that makes me feel better.
So it was good, but I like that like having to phone back and be like, so we basically took a vote. We got 2 guys, and out of the 2 guys that we want to play, you're not the one guy. We had 50-50 option.
It is a shitty,
yeah. And so that was, I just didn't like it. We got to communicate better. But the bigger issue is
we left it until fucking Monday.
But how, like, did we leave it? And now I'm absolutely not going to sit here and throw shade at our team, especially because they make up a good percentage of our listeners, and I love them, and they sort stuff out for us. But it is a funny thing. I think a lesson learned moving into like another commitment down the road is that like, you, the absentee, fill the position.
I think that's probably, here's the problem.
Or you gotta golf the whole next round with your pee-pee out. 18 holes, full pee-pee.
We'd never see them again. That reminds me of like, I'm in a fantasy football league where there's punishments, and the first year, the guy was just like, yeah, no, I fucking quit the league and didn't do the punishment.
Isn't that a thing? That's like a thing, like since the league, and since like, I don't know if that's when it came about, but that's a common thing, because I don't do fantasy, but there's always a punishment, right? Like
a lot of leagues do it. The ones I run, we don't, because I kind of predicted that would be a thing. Like, some of these punishments are so insane, right? Like, some of them are fun, and our leagues I don't think are that bad, and you've got a choice of what you want to do. But I've seen some that are crazy, and like, I don't blame this guy. He saw the list of punishment options. He's like, I think I'd just rather not fucking play fantasy football.
Give me an example. Because I have a buddy who...
Well, so actually my brother did this one last summer because he lost in this league. And it was, you have to spend 24 hours at a Denny's.
Yes, this is the one.
And every pancake you eat takes an hour off your time. And so he ended up spending like, I want to say it was like 13 or 14 hours there, which means he ate 10 fucking pancakes.
10 orders, or like 10 like oh man.
Well, it was the big, like, they're plate-sized pancakes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, if it was like that, because there's like the stack, and there's like
he
the Denny's Dingler.
He easily housed 10,000 calories that day.
Oh, sick. That to me, like, I love that, and that's like, a bit of a cost to him, but also like a really funny story. And I've heard that one before. I love that one. That one makes sense. I know there's I've seen on the internet some pretty extreme ones. I was gonna say, my buddy, we were just hanging out this a while ago, and he pulls his phone out, and he's got like a pink case, and I was like, oh, what's up with your case? Like, and it's like girl power or something, so like that. And he's like, oh, I lost my fantasy football league, and I was like, oh, like that was your punishment? And he's like, yeah, I gotta have this like pink phone case. And I was like, wow, you and your friends are like...
You guys are pretty wild.
Pretty wild. What a bunch of animals. Man, guys are going to think you like the color pink. Ooh.
I saw a good one on Instagram today. This guy had to go out on a date with a life-size cardboard cutout of Taylor Swift. And so his buddies are like at another table taking pictures of him, and he's like ordering with the waiter, and there's just this like Taylor Swift cutout.
And he's not allowed to say anything. Like he's just...
I think he had to play it cool, and I think he had to like order for her and stuff.
Feeding her spaghetti, just throwing it against the cardboard. I love it.
Right?
See,
those are fun.
Yeah, so we should do that.
PP out for 18 holes is like, yeah. So to go back,
you can wear like a horse mask. You can wear like an Amazon horse mask.
Is that better or worse?
Well, I think the juxtaposition with your horse face and your not horse cock makes it a lot worse.
Fenton's horse farm or whatever. Yeah. But to go back to the golf thing, I used to run a team in Medicine Hat for men's league, and this one was much more involved. You had to have 8 players every week, and that was our rule. You have to find, if you're not playing, you have to find somebody to spare for you. Nobody ever found anybody to spare for them, and it ended up being like even more of a mad dash than this, where it's like me 3 hours before we play, like just calling everybody because the guy's like, oh, like I'm out on site and I barely got any cell service. Go fuck yourself. Like, and that's, so you put in that rule, but nobody.
Then you just don't follow the rule. Yeah, there's so many things you can do. That this is kind of full circle. Like, yeah, please don't cheat at the scramble. We're all gonna cheat. You know, like you're planning a bachelor party. You're like, everybody's got to pay me by this date, and then the date comes and goes, and they're like, fuck. Or
what are you gonna do? Cancel the party?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Not go? You're gonna invite me, but you want your money. They have like immediately so much leverage over you in that, and you're like, well, please do come, because everyone else has already paid their mathematically equivalent amount, and when you don't come, I'll have to pay your share. So actually, you've got me by the friggin' tiny horse cock, because I need you to come desperately. Yeah, I've dealt with that one a few times, and then you're like, you feel like such a dick because like buddy's like, I can't make it last minute, and you're like, that sucks.
You still committed.
Like, here's my email for that money, or like, you know, like sell your spot to somebody else. Like just crickets. Like, yeah, it's a weird position.
Here's the other part with like finding your own spare. Like, we're kind of a close knit group of guys, and it's kind of nice to like find friends that you actually want to play golf with.
Yeah.
If it's like, hey, I found Trash Can Billy. He's coming out with his clubs he stole from Launchpad last week. Have a good time.
That's what I'm going to do. Next time I'm on the hook for fucking bringing somebody, I'm going to just find like I'm going to go down to whatever, like what's the East Hastings of Calgary? Like, I'm going to fucking show up down there and be like, I'm going to buy you a glizzy. You're going to come golf with me and my friends. All you need is this putter. You're good to go. Dress like that. That's a collar. That trench coat, there's a collar on that. You're good to go. That's what I'm going to do. And he gets to ride with someone else. But this is I wanted to do this on the podcast because we're coming in and it was like both of us were like, yeah, I love you, buddy, but fuck you. This was good. We got to air this out. I feel so much better because it was an honest mistake on both sides.
Yeah.
So I apologize, Dex. Okay.
Apology accepted. All right. Moving on.
Are you going to apologize to me?
No.
This fucking guy. I'm mad again.
I got the apology. I'm moving on.
Oh god.
Okay, I'm sorry for my. This is how I apologize to my wife.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry that you feel that I have wronged you.
I'm gonna use that when I get home. I'm in the doghouse.
It doesn't go well.
Okay.
It does. I wouldn't use it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a real apology. Saying I'm sorry you feel that way is like, sorry that you are the way that you are. Like, right? That's basically what you're saying.
So don't use that?
Don't use that one, no.
We were trying to get back from family dinner so I could get here, and we're driving home, and Megan is like, I'll put the girls down, you can go and do your podcast. And I was like, thank you. But she hurt her back working out, and she's like really sore. So she's like slow to get out of the car, slow to get the girls, like can barely get up the steps. And I said to her, I was like, you don't look like someone who's ready to put these girls down by herself. Like, I'll stay and help you. And she's like, yeah, well, okay. And then we like get in and we start, you know, getting the girls organized. And I looked at the clock and it was like 8:30. I was like, oh, never mind. You earlier you said you were good. Like, I'm going to peace out. And she was heated. Like I actually didn't know what to do, because I was like, well, I meant what I said. Like, I don't want to be any later. I don't want to be like, when we record super late, we kind of suck. We're not funny. It's like long. We got to go solve this golf
That is the
conflict.
least of her concerns.
I know. I fucked up. I'm giving you this admission live. Like, she's at home right now as we record this, being like, you piece of garbage.
You could have texted me and said, hey, I'm going to be a little later.
I already walked away too far.
Yeah. You
I
almost
mishandled that one.
You almost like double blue-balled your wife.
I'm sorry that you feel.
I'm sorry you feel blue-balled.
I'm sorry that you feel like your back is spasming and in a lot of pain, and you needed support from your husband to be a father.
This is a great what not to do episode.
Oh, yeah. No, I got some apologies to make. She'll listen to this, and just want you to know, honey, I love you. May have played that wrong.
You know what's going to be funny is if you do go home tonight and give her the like, I'm sorry you feel that way, but here's how the discussion went. And then she's going to listen to this episode and be like, wait, Dex told you to say that. And he also said immediately following that, it's not a real apology.
Oh, no, yeah, no. I think I go home and sleep on the couch, and we deal with this tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good call.
I'm not going to go wake her up.
You got a nice couch to sleep on?
No, are you offering?
I was just asking.
All right, buddy, sleepover, like, a couple of guys.
Yeah, a couple of boys in the basement. No, like this couch is pretty comfy. I don't ever come to the basement if I get couch duty. My upstairs one is all right. I can sleep anywhere though. I can sleep on a fucking park bench.
Do you ever get couch duty? Have you ever been like, you have to go sleep somewhere else? For trouble, not for fucking.
It's rare. It's happened, but like I don't want to like air out my dirty laundry because I can count on like one hand.
Yeah, no, don't go
fingers.
into detail. I'm not like, tell me about your marital conflicts. I'm just interested because I've never been like asked or like forced to, but like what I'll do is like I'll like self-imposed. It'll be like my shutdown.
And I would say that the times that I've done it has been self-imposed where I'm like, you know what? You don't get any dick tonight. I'm going to the couch. Me and my tiny horse wiener are going to the couch.
This sweet ass.
Good luck taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
watch this on the way.
So
out.
I would say, yeah, like maybe once she's been like, sleep on the fucking couch.
Okay.
Whereas most of the time I'm like, you know what? I don't like your vibes. I'll be on the couch.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's mine's a self-destruct. I'm like losing an argument. And I'm like, okay, your back hurts, right? All right. I guess I'll just go sleep on the couch then. And she's like, no, don't. Let's talk about this. We can't go to bed angry. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll go on the couch. I guess I'll just go fuck myself. I guess I'll just go sleep on the couch. And she's like, no, you're just going to go play with video games and like not deal with this. I'm like, oh, fine. You want me on the couch? I'm going. You're going to make me. Like, I'm not making you. I'm like,
sorry you feel like I gotta sleep on the couch.
Sorry you feel like I gotta sleep downstairs with Zelda and 10 more beers, but I guess I'll go.
All right, valuable lessons here. How not to apologize on the Rad Dad Redemption podcast.
Hey, play that mailbag jingle.
Boom.
Mailbag time, motherfucker.
So, we may have discovered that we're not getting emails sent to us because I was told, hey, I've got an email to send, and I referred this sender to our Instagram page, and she said she followed the link. We looked at it just now. It's very much Rad Dad Redemption podcast at gmail.com. But maybe the only reason I say this, only preface this, because if you've ever sent us an email and we haven't read it,
try sending it again through Instagram.
If you've ever tried to send us an email and we haven't read it, there is a possibility we did not receive it. So please, maybe send that again. So this one comes from a Schmecky Johansson.
Ooh, any relation to Scarlett?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sisters. Hello, 5th time listener, 1st time emailer. Thank you for all the laughs. I've really enjoyed listening. I look forward to buying some merch, perhaps add some tank tops on the site, ? I will bring some to Australia for the variety night and looking forward to busting loose at Big Beaver. Hell yeah. If I might add a suggestion, perhaps invite guest speakers. Interesting. Maybe only 10 to 20 minutes every few shows. I hear the owner of Sleuth Shark Industries is a cool dude. Perhaps a local comedian? Question mark, question mark. All kidding aside, I love the show and can't wait to hear more. Love, Schmecky Johansson.
Love it.
Yeah, great email.
I appreciate when people take time to email us.
Yeah, just the fact that you
know what I love even more?
Yeah.
She's going to buy stuff.
Capitalism. Yeah. Okay, back to those tank tops. Yeah, shout out you. The guest speaker thing. So interestingly enough, we just talked about this. We've always had this idea. I think even from like the very first episode, in talks of like how we were going to structure this, what our goals were. It was very apparent that we wanted to be a show that brings people on to not only get them to share what they're doing, but other funny people. We've had a lot of episodes already where we could have used a guest speaker.
Yeah.
But right now, we're limited in terms of our technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dex is also our producer. He's also kind of like our de facto designer and social media expert. Dex wears a lot of hats. He also wears the hat that like sets up all of our technical stuff. And we don't have the ability to do 3 speakers well. Like it'll be very much like 2 cool guys with their floppy horse wiener mics, and then like someone somewhere else with a snowball or like tuning in digitally.
Not even that. It would be like 2 people would have to share with our current setup. And that's just like the limitations of the free software that we use to make this.
Wait, what? So we are absolutely going to have guests. We've already got a few ideas. We've already actually talked to a few people. And we've got some ideas, maybe outsourcing where we record. There's a lot of opportunities in the city to actually go and use a professional studio. And so once we have like a really firm idea, that's the other thing too. We don't want to like blow our load and like go and rent these spaces and have like a really like, oh, we're going to do this. We're going to have a guest and then have nothing to say. Election special style.
Yeah, that would be like blowing your load on the couch for sure.
Yeah. And we only do that when we fight with our wives. And so you definitely can expect that the Rad Dad Redemption podcast will have guests and it will be a leveled up experience. We're very excited to bring that to you.
Yeah.
But it is in the works. It's coming, and it will be after our Rad Dad Variety Night because that's our focus right now.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some expense, right? If we want to rent a place or whatever. So, buy them tank tops, which currently are not on the website, but I'll design some. Do we know what these people... I've had 2 requests for tank tops now.
There's 2 separate requests.
Do we know what kind of like imagery do they just want a logo tank, or do they want something like...
They want something to do with the Titan submarine.
Sick. I went to the Titanic and all I got was killed.
All I got was this cruddy tank top and smushed to death.
All right. Perfect segue. The hottest topic of the week.
The hottest, like much more so than like any like current global conflict.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of people dying daily. What's in the news this week?
Bunch of billionaires got squished in a pop can.
Yeah.
Which is objectively, and you know what? You can call me a piece of shit for saying this, funny as fuck. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That some of the richest people in the world, we're talking top 0.01%, got into a homemade submarine to go see the Titanic. Light doesn't even penetrate that far down in the ocean. Did you know that? So they're looking at the Titanic through a homemade sub with like a flashlight shining on it. And like they paid like $250,000 to do so. And then they died while they're doing it. That's funny as fuck. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, and definitely like we'll unpack that a bit because like that's the back and forth online right now is like people make hilarious memes, people make hilarious observations, and there's always the other side, the humanists, if you will, that are coming up and be like, these are people, these are real humans who had their lives taken from them, and it is objectively sad. And by no...
I like how you just said the exact opposite of what I did. You're
no,
like, it's objectively sad.
I want to put it out there. I want, I think it's important. I do. I think it's important to be like, we're not out here just full out like the blackest humor, the darkest humor, just like laughing at idiots that have died. But...
There's a big old but.
But...
Sorry you feel that way.
It's when you look at kind of how it goes down and the pictures of this fucking thing and the price tag associated with it and the like just piles and piles of evidence like to the contrary was like, you shouldn't do this. This is just like a homemade bathtub. Like, I don't know, man. It does have that air of like, what did you think was going to happen? Well, like what did you really fucking think? Like how far down is the Titanic?
I believe 14,000 feet.
Yeah, so like just Google like the amount of pressure at that position under the sea. Like it's like one of the most inhospitable environments on this fucking planet.
Like a military sub goes down about 300 meters, and this was something like, what is it, 1,300 meters? So like an order of magnitude deeper than like what the military's most advanced submarines can do.
I just can't imagine like this getting laid out in front of anyone and being like, shut up and take my money.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's funny? You talk about the water pressure. This blows my mind. So somebody on Reddit I saw did like the math of the water pressure and how fast that implosion would have happened with that type of water pressure at that depth. And basically, you know, if there was to be any size of breach, the water would rush in so fast that it would fill that entire container and basically, you know, implode it and blow it apart in something like 0.02 seconds. Like that's how insane the water pressure is. The human brain can't even understand pain for like 0.1 seconds.
They went very peacefully.
They went very, like, they were probably like, oh, hey, we're getting pretty close to the, and that was it. Like, just, they didn't realize
they're
what was
fighting
happening.
over the game controller. It's my turn.
They had like a little Super Smash Bros. Tourney going.
Someone had been at Costco the night before and farted in there, and they're all like, oh, that stinks. Oh, that's the worst thing that could ever happen down here. Oh,
how many Polish dogs do you have? Yeah, no, they probably did not have any idea of what was happening, because once something fails at that depth, it's like it just happens so fast. There's no like, oh, it looks like we sprung a leak. Like, let's see if we can get to the surface.
It's not U571, all right? He's not down there like making decisions. It's over. It's over quick. And it's over, and everyone was like, yeah, of course. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah. And I think I was watching live the U.S. Navy conference, and one of the reporters was like, they asked the general, do you think there's going to be any possibility of recovery of the remains? And the general, like, very like PC kind of put it like, well, it's a very difficult environment down there, and it may be tough. So, you know, I have no answer for you on that time, or on that at this time. And I was like, that's a very like diplomatic way of saying like they got squished into a pink mist. Like, as faster than you can snap your fingers, we're not finding any fucking thing down there. Sorry. Like, yeah.
Yeah, they're gone. I think, so you touched on it, and like, I did. I wasn't trying to be devil's advocate. I just thought it was important to say that, like, yeah, these guys are dead now. But
I will say the one person that I do kind of feel bad for is like the kid.
Yeah.
Because I think he was like just trying to like go with dad on his trip.
Do something cool, Father's Day.
And like his dad would have signed the waiver for him, right? Because he's like a minor.
I think he was a college student. He was like 19.
Okay, so he signed his... Well, then you know what? I take back everything I just said.
Yeah, less sad. He was an idiot. Deserved to die.
But nobody deserves to die. But like when you... Okay, actually there are people that deserve to die. Nobody on this submarine, by all accounts, was one of them. But, you know, when you knowingly put yourself into like a really dangerous situation and then trigger like a multi-million-dollar rescue response to find out that like you basically got smushed, it's like I dig into my empathy bucket and there's just not much there.
There's nothing there, and that's where it gets really muddy for me. I was gonna bring it around to hilarity and also like throwing some shade. So you've got these like very rich people, the richest members of society, who don't have anything to do this week, so they're gonna go out off the coast of Canada, you know, charter a boat, a very expensive multi-million-dollar vessel, to house their submersible, and they're going to go down and take a look at the Titanic, and they're going to pay an exorbitant price, and it's inherently risky. It's super dangerous. There's red flags everywhere. There's like documented, like, hey, this is an uncertified submersible. There's news coverage about Ocean Gate saying like, we don't know about this. Did you see the reporter clip from a couple months ago when he's getting the tour of it?
Yeah, and the owner is like, at some point, safety just becomes a waste of time. That's when you back up. When the guy taking you to the bottom of the fucking ocean says safety might just be a little waste of time.
And they signed that paper.
And it's all on there. It says like this is not approved by any regulatory body.
That was one of the clips is the reporters going through like the possible hazards, and he's like, oh, now I'll just put my name on this.
Yeah.
So like that's where it gets a little, like not a little, like a lot muddy for me. Like you knowingly went into this dude's pop can that he built. You know, obviously I'm being reductive, but like maybe 1 or 2 rankings above homemade submarine, okay? And then like, yeah, shit went south. Now enter this like massive recovery effort, coordinated recovery effort, international recovery effort that not only takes people out of what they're like regularly supposed to be doing. I guess their job is saving people, but like not homemade submersible people right. in this like insane inhospitable part of the ocean. You know, they have other things that they need to do. They have other jobs to be carrying out, but at the cost of who? Like that's the media coverage now, is like, how expensive was it to get the US Coast Guard, the Canadian Coast Guard, like all these remote operated vehicles to dive down there and look for stuff, when like, you know, James Cameron could tell you it was a bad idea from the start. And who's on the hook for that? Like, we as the taxpayers are most likely gonna have to kind of eat that cost. And I think at the very least, if those guys are looking down at us, they can let us make some jokes in poor taste. I think it's what they would want.
Yeah, you know what? When you justify it that way, I agree.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's your favorite Titanic sub meme?
There was a graph, and it was annual Titanic deaths.
I saw this one.
So this massive spike in 1912, and then it's just flatline to 2023, and then a little blip. I like that.
That was a good one.
I thought that was good.
There was a bunch where it was like POV, me, a ghost on the Titanic, watching a submarine of billionaires drive by, and it's just like this person in like old-timey clothes and like this old music, and then you hear like this rap music come up closer and closer, and the sub just zips by. Those ones are funny. And you know, I question, like, what is the fascination with going to look at the wreckage of the Titanic? I know it was like a huge calamity, but I mean, you can watch video of subs that have gone down there, and honestly, that's probably better video than what you would see if you went down there in person.
It's rich people being dickheads. It's rich people, it's rich dicks buying exclusivity. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
No one else can do it. When you look at like what that experience would have been, you know, like they're sitting cross-legged in a cylinder going through like the blackest, deepest, darkest, most unsafe waters. That cannot be a fulfilling experience. That's a terrifying, horrifying, like deep ocean sounds, no windows. You got one eccentric billionaire with a Logitech game controller sitting being like, it's all gonna be great, and that's his real voice. Like, there's no way that that's like something anyone wants to do, especially when you look at the fine print and they're like, you're probably definitely gonna die doing this. So why? What is it? It's so that like the college kid comes back. Like, how was your spring semester? How was your break? You're like, guess what I fucking did? You know, that's like a real take on it, is they're buying something that no one else can buy.
Yeah.
They got the one Wu-Tang CD produced by the guy who's not really in Wu-Tang. Like, that's what they just fucking bought.
They basically spent the amount of money that on a what I understand is basically a 4-hour trip, because it's like 2 hours down, 2 hours up. They spent an amount of money on that many people don't even have. Like, you could dip into every investment account, every bank account you got, and not come up with enough money to do that. And they spent that on a 4-hour voyage.
Oh, we're not going to go down that road, because we've already proven like very, very clearly that we shouldn't talk politics at all. But like the amount of stuff that we don't spend money on, and then we got these 5 guys in their tin can, and they're like, oh yeah, green light, let's get them. Let's bring those boys home.
Oh yeah, to
their respective homes that aren't here in this country.
Like, yeah, that was the thing. Like, the one guy that owned it was he Canadian or American?
They're based out of Seattle. You know, I'm not as well read.
Okay.
I kind of just went straight to the memes.
Yeah, but like, yeah, the guy and his son were, I believe, Indian citizens, and then there was a
Pakistani,
French,
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a French citizen and like a UK citizen.
And those guys were explorers. That was their professional designation, which is just another way of saying like trust fund. What do? I'm an explorer. Okay.
I explored the Titanic for a living.
You got a huge amount of fucking money. That's what you do. So yeah, like and that's crazy. That's crazy to me.
It's very what's the word I'm looking for? Serendipitous is tomorrow actually. Virgin Galactic is launching their first passenger flight to space.
Oh.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We might have a follow-up episode for you guys. I like it. I think it's funny when you go through like, and I know it's an algorithm, like it's catered. I do it. I input the information that makes my news feed do this. So it's not just like society's hierarchy, but I think it's funny when I log on to Google News to like see what's up. It's like, this many women, children, and unarmed civilians died in the Ukraine today. Like this type of mercenary boss commits mutiny by storming on Moscow or whatever that was, the Wagner group, and all these stories, these are like at the very bottom. I've scrolled down 10 minutes to find them, but like number one is like they've heard banging noises. Like they've got sonar drops, they've heard banging noises. We're gonna find these 5 people, and like everyone is just so fixated on it, and it's like a really like, it's kind of a yucky feeling. It's like, man, we don't really care about anything. We just care about like the dumbest fucking shit.
And there is a phenomenon called empathy. What is it? Empathy. Oh, see, now I'm trying to talk about this phenomenon, but it's basically where your empathy for certain things is just kind of desensitized, right? You turn on the news and it's like, this fucking war is still ongoing.
Like an empathy fatigue or something like that?
That's exactly, yeah, that's the word I was looking for, fatigue, empathy fatigue. This war is still going on, and another boat of migrants capsized, and that makes, fucking 3 the last month, and hundreds of people have drowned and all this stuff. And so, you can turn on the news every day and you can feel like all this bad shit's happening all the time.
The sky is falling, yeah, blah, blah.
And you just become desensitized to it, right? And then it's like, but there's a pop can floating somewhere off the coast of Newfoundland, and there's a bunch of billionaires in there, and it's powered by a Logitech controller, and you're just like it just captivates you, and you're like, this is fucking ridiculous, right? And
this is something new. I'm going to pay attention to this.
It's something new, exactly, right? It's like, this isn't the same sad story just played out in a slightly different color. This is something brand new.
Yeah.
Right? So I can see why people are, and I don't blame people for that. And I was fully following it and watching the news conference live when it happened. I was like, let's hear what they got to say. And they're like, yeah, they got squished pretty good. And I was like, as expected. Right?
Monkeypox, going to be the next big one. Next, school shootings. As many American school shootings as there are days in the calendar. Next, like Russia moving nuclear arms to Belarus. Like China is making an occupation or making a bid at operations in Cuba. It's like next. Oh God, boring. Oh God, shut up. Whoa. These guys had a Logitech controller. That's my favorite meme. You asked earlier what my favorite meme was. My favorite meme is, it's just someone who's taken a screen capture on Amazon, and they found the exact Logitech controller, and it's just all the new comments, all the new Q&A that's come in. It's like, would this be good for a submarine? Like, what's the range on this controller? Could me and my buddies build our own submarine with it? It's just like reams and reams of all these fucking questions that the manufacturer's having to answer or not answer, probably.
Requesting Amazon to delete them, but they're coming in faster than they can delete them.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, it's not anything new. And honestly, it might, I was actually reading a theory that it might spur more development into deep sea exploration for tourists, because it goes back to the first expedition up Everest that was done for tourists. So this wasn't like mountaineers. It was done for tourists. Was an unmitigated disaster. Like, people died. And there was rich
and
people,
many have since then, yeah.
Many people have since then on Everest. But it was rich people paying to go up to the top of Everest, and they died. And you were like, well, this will be a valuable lesson to everybody that thinks they can conquer Everest. Like, you need to be a professional mountain climber with years of experience to be able to do this. And then what happened is there's literally hundreds of tour companies out there that will hook you up with some Sherpas and they'll get you to the top of Everest if they have to fucking drag you to the top.
And literally do carry all your gear,
Yep.
rig all your lines, get you across everything, carrying like the oldest fucking dude on the planet.
Yep. And you know that you can die on Everest. People die on there every year. They can't recover the bodies. You walk past frozen bodies. Some of them are used as markers. It's like, oh, turn right at orange jacket guy. Right?
Sir Edmund Hillary. Take a left, Sir Edmund. Hardcore.
Have you ever seen like pictures of Everest in peak season at the summit? It's like literally a line of people and you're just standing there waiting for the person at the top to take their picture. And it looks like they're waiting for fucking Space Mountain. Like, the line is wild. You think Everest, this like top point of the world, you know, uninhabitable. And there's literally hundreds of people waiting to get their picture taken because they had a Sherpa take them to the top.
Well, the first time ever, because I'm not like an adventurer, it's not something that I would be into. I'm not a rich guy. I'm not building
Even if
this
I
up.
was rich, I want to actually like truly enjoy my money. And I don't think that freezing my dick off on Everest is the way to do it.
But I read John Krakauer's Into Thin Air, and it's his first-hand account of, he's writing for a magazine and he gets invited to go on an expedition to Everest, and he goes with these like baller people who really know what they're doing and have actually done like a lot of like not only summits but like summits without supplemental oxygen. Like, these are OP climbers, and they have this big group that they go out with, and John Krakauer's account is very much like his account. And like, since then, people have come out that were on the expedition being like, that's not quite how it went. So it's not necessarily a fictionalized account, but he definitely, like, it's him telling the story, and it's riveting if you haven't read the book. They made it into a movie a couple years ago.
I'll watch the movie.
Yeah, the movie's terrible, but in the book though, how things go south is like ego and like human error. So they're there. There's expeditions up the wazoo. They're like, they go there and they stay at base camp, or they stay at Camp 1 until they get a window, and everyone's waiting for the perfect window to go and make their climb successfully. You, me, 100 other groups, just like you're saying. So they're not only there, but they're like bottlenecking in the camps, waiting for this chance to get up there. So it doesn't matter that you're going with like the Jesus of climbing Everest. You are at the will and mercy of everyone else on that mountain. And that's exactly what happens as they go up. Things go south. There's a huge amount of people on the mountain. I want to say it's called the Hillary Step. It's like one of these like really dangerous parts of the climb that you have to get around. And it's just like, there's people everywhere, and it's getting late in the day, and like weather's turning, and you know, there's like a whole gamut of, this group feels the pressure to go because they've brought these like rich Taiwanese tourists, and they're like, we're climbing Everest, you take us. Or like I said, there's ego at play, like, I've never not summited, blah blah blah. And so these people, whether they knew better or not, find themselves in a position in this like intensely dangerous part of the planet, and they're just gonna like make a bad call. And in this book, that's exactly what happens, and it goes off the rails big time. And a bunch of them die. And the ones that don't die, like, lose hands and lose feet. And it's this, like, horrible, fucked up thing. But even at the end of that, you come away from it, and it's like, what did you think?
What did you think was going to happen? There's a reason people don't just, like, live near the top of Everest.
Well, Everest City? Yeah, one of my favorites.
Like, you know, like, there's, yeah. It's the same reason, like, we don't all live in trees. Like, we are people, and we're kind of like, you know, at the whims of gravity, and so we kind of stay on the ground. Yeah. And we've found ways to get around, and planes are pretty safe now. Now they are, right? But, you know, I also probably wouldn't want to be the first guy on a plane, same as I don't want to be the first guy to go to space.
You say planes in space. Well, I was trying to find like content for tonight's episode, and I was trying to look up like what are funny thing to Google, like, what are ways rich people die? How do rich people die? Do they die like us? Do they die in their cryo chambers? You know, like what's...
None of them actually die. They all get frozen. Yeah.
And I found an article called Death Styles of the Rich and Famous. And like the very first part of it's like, bummer, spoiler alert, it's cancer. Like they die the same as we die. But then it's like, it kind of goes into, you know, I don't want to say anomalies, but like, you know, outliers.
Yeah.
You know, and one of them was private jets. You know, being like a scheduled flyer, someone who flies economy, you know, is very much so less dangerous than people who have access to private jets. You know, Kobe, RIP.
Yep, helicopter.
You know, there's like a higher percentage of and like there's a ton like was it Ronnie Van Sant? Like most of Leonard Skinner went down in a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that a thing? That's a thing.
And like Buddy Holly.
Yeah. And so like that's one of the things. Like if you're super rich, you know, like submersible, homemade submarine, that's on the list. But also like flying your private jets, you're more like when you're rich, you're more likely to die that way.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense. Because I'll probably never be on a private jet.
Yeah, it pays to be poor is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like we're a little bit safer, I think.
In that sense, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not taking any private jets, not yet. Buy a couple tank tops. Okay?
Yeah, we just need to sell, by my calculations, 30 or 40 million tank tops.
The old Titan tank top coming to a Baja Life style sooner than later. That's what gets us canceled.
I mean, space is going to be the next one, though. And there's, it's going to happen because it's, and they've tested the flights and stuff, but it's going to happen at some point because it always happens with something new. And there's going to be a tourist space endeavor where they go into low Earth orbit and something goes wrong. And these millionaires and billionaires that paid 125 grand on a Virgin Galactic flight are all dead. And it's going to be top news story. There's probably going to be 4 migrant boats that day.
We're going to be... Oh, that we were talking about, like, scrolling through stuff. Yeah. Migrant boat goes over with hundreds of women and children. It's the 15th thing in my stream.
Yep.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But we're going to be talking about that Virgin Galactic flight.
Yeah.
Or whatever company it happens to.
Yeah, Virgin, you can still sponsor us. That's chill. That one's interesting, and maybe you could say the exact same thing about deep sea exploration. I think the privatization of space travel at least has the merit of advancing a technology that will undeniably become a major part of like human race's ability to like endure.
Yeah,
I mean, I like there's like, and like we've been reading forever. Not you and me, but like it's a common knowledge that like this like timeline that we exist in, the fake timeline that ended in 2012 and we're all in a simulation. But like, we got this planet with finite resources, like there's this extended history behind us, and then like ahead of us, like what's going to happen? Well, the sun's going to get big. It's going to swallow this fucking place up.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Like we don't have forever. We got a long fucking time, probably longer than you or I could even comprehend. But like, if there's this idea of humans persisting as a galactic entity, it obviously involves space travel. Mm-hmm. So, and what governments are not doing, there is no giant space race anymore. And there's very little fucking cooperation between superpowers right now in terms of space travel. So like, who's getting it done? Who's building the shit to like explore? Well, it's Bezos and it's Musk.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be like popcorn front row when the first heavy Falcon comes down. But I just think there is some redeeming qualities there where it's like, well, at least we're doing something that like potentially could lead to new technologies and certainly like advance us as a civilization. Maybe.
Right. And there's absolutely that side of things. And I think you're right. We need to explore space. And there's mining opportunities on asteroids and shit. Like when you take that far enough,
precious metals,
right?
Got to build these phones.
But it's also like, does it also need to be for tourism, right? And I understand that maybe getting people to pay these big tickets to go to space will be one of the ways that they fund all of this. So there's that, and then Virgin Galactic also does have a plan that basically like they want to revolutionize air travel, where you go into low Earth orbit and you basically like. You can encircle the globe much faster. You want to go to from Calgary to Australia, a flight is going to take you direct 14 hours, 15 hours, more than that maybe.
I was just hanging with people at dinner that came from Tasmania, and they said it was 13 from Auckland to Van.
So Virgin Galactic, they think that they can basically get you from any point in the world to any other point in the world in like under 2 hours. That's less than driving to Edmonton.
And certainly, if you look back at our history, people who invented the technologies that we have currently were pioneers. Like the first person who built a train. There's probably a lot of people
I wouldn't get on that thing. Fucking death trap.
You know, like even skyscrapers. Like I mean, I think probably it's infinite the amount of people who went first and did things first, and now we enjoy the comfort of like a safe and refined technology. You know,
do you think everybody was making like, you know, when the Wright brothers were like first flying? Do you think there was like the 1910s version of like memes about them? Everybody was laughing, but now we hail them as heroes.
Oh yeah, I don't know what that would look like though. Is that just like some kid on the corner, like extra?
This is a newspaper cartoon, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely. Oh yeah, the Wright brothers were getting shade.
These two think that they can fly.
Yeah, and there was definitely, and they did fly. They like they were the ones. They were the ones that did it. But you can like everyone can look up those like, you know, like as the fucking camera was being invented, pictures of like people like with their flying contraptions.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those old clips are like those guys didn't make it and walk that one off. That thing had 19 fucking wings stacked on top of each other, and he was riding a bike underneath it. Like that man died, and all the fucking podcasters back then sat around and shat on him. They're like, "What'd you think? You put 19 fucking wings on top of each other, riding your fucking bicycle with one wheel that's too big and too small that we don't know how to figure that out yet. Like, fucking, what an idiot. He deserved to die." No one deserves. I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, it wasn't a meme. It was something else.
Whatever they called it back then.
I don't know. Yeah, when did even meme come around?
I don't know. Now we're getting past the intellectual knowledge of this podcast.
Yeah, well, we started with poop jokes. Let us know what you think. You know,
you like the poo poo?
You like the poo poo? You like the poo poo? You like the Titan? Do you think it was a good idea, bad idea? Who the hell cares?
Honestly, I just hope they make Titanic 2.
Oh, there was a lot of being like Netflix just like twiddling their fingers like, so when do we release this documentary? Like it's already in production.
Oh yeah.
So I did find a couple of the bizarre ways rich and famous people have died. In December, Canadian billionaires Barry and Honey Sherman were found dead. The couple was found hanged to death near their indoor pool in the basement of their $3 million Toronto mansion. At first, authorities assumed it was a murder-suicide, but it now appears to be something even more sinister. The adult children of the deceased have hired a private investigator to look at their parents' death, insisting there's no way it was a murder-suicide. The Shermans aren't the only wealthy people to meet a bizarre and sudden end. Oh, I thought it was going to be about the Shermans. I just read the front matter.
Well, so that actually brings out, like, so if you're a lottery winner, you are, like, so much more likely to be murdered.
Yeah, death styles of the rich and famous. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's just, yeah, when you've got money, like, either you become a target or you attract certain business dealings that make you a target, or, you know, a target for retribution or whatever that is. Yeah, that's a big thing with lottery winners, is it's like, tell as few people as you can, because...
You know what everyone knows? They know you got money.
Yeah, having a bunch of money makes you a target. Actually, I used to work for the Jim Pattison Broadcast Group, and Jim Pattison is one of Canada's wealthiest people. And in the, I want to say in the 70s, maybe I think it was the 70s, his daughter was kidnapped and held for ransom in BC.
No way.
Yeah, and that like that's not going to happen to me. Like, nobody's kidnapping my kid and holding her for ransom. I'd be like, I'm paycheck to paycheck. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're asking for more than $1,000, it's gonna be pretty tough.
Oh yeah, they're phoning my parents and be like, "Which one?" Okay, so add that to the list. We got planes, private jets. We also have just being that rich is bad for your health, right? Like, yeah. You're the victim for kidnapping. What do you call that? Ransom. So that was just the front matter. This is the one I wanted to read. Jimmy Hesselden. No idea if I pronounced that right. I know you've heard of this one. He's a former coal miner who made his fortune by founding the company Hesco Bastion Limited, which made large containers filled with sand or earth. These containers were popular with armies in a number of countries, as this allowed barriers to be quickly constructed. So his containers were shipped to conflict zones around the world, including Iraq and Afghanistan. He made a huge amount of money. While he was alive, he amassed a net worth of $250 million. So what's he do with this money? Well, in 2010, he bought the Segway company. And in September of that same year, he died while driving a Segway off a cliff, plummeting 80 feet into a river below.
Did he do it on purpose?
I don't know. This is just
Because
like...
I don't want to laugh if like this guy was just like having some like mental health problems and he just like couldn't grapple with his enormous wealth and just decided to yeet it over a cliff. But
or he experienced like a medical emergency. Like he's an older dude.
That's not funny. But you know what is funny? I got to tread lightly. But he loses control of the contraption that he himself owns the company, which makes it, and he's just uncontrollably like just flying towards this
These
cliff
things
edge.
are dangerous.
His final words are just like, "Get these off the shelves."
Yeah.
You remember when like that was a thing for like 5 minutes where like mall cops would always have those?
Yeah, no, I still like. Is that not a thing anymore? You go to Chinook. I think that's how they get around quickly.
Really? I feel like I haven't seen one in forever.
No, I think I haven't seen just like like a Segway. I used to be able to go to West Ed and they'd have like the Segway riding course.
Who says there's nothing fun to do at West End?
That's
You
our
can
next
go
event.
right through the glass
We're going
over
to-
the fucking pirate. You can land with the submarine, have your own Titan experience for $45.
Oh, that is how we revitalize that mall. The Titan experience.
Yeah, just paint the thing white and put a Logitech controller in there.
The West Edmonton Mall submarines are like more suitable for deep sea travel than this guy's fucking sub. That's my take on that. I still can't get over looking at some of the pictures. Like, how'd you get in that fucking thing? I thought I had a bunch of bangers here, and like much like the first one with the Shermans, where it just like detailed their death. These are just rich people that have died, and some of them in horrible ways. I was really trying to like corner the market on like you died because of your richness.
Yeah.
Like you bought a lion.
So I would say like maybe certain types of addictions,
Oh yeah, okay.
right? Like because there are some drugs, for example, that like you could not possibly overdose on this or like even build a habit unless you had just an exorbitant amount of money to spend on it.
Matthew Perry still alive. Yeah.
He's still alive, but I mean he was well on the way to dying, but like no street junkie could have that type of habit that he did.
I read his book, and his whole thing was like he didn't like needles, so he was like, orally taking his fucking habit, and I can't remember, it was like 55 pills a day. And in his book he talks about, like, he even says, like, you have to be able to like sustain a habit like that, you have to be disgustingly rich. You have to be like filthy, one of the 6 dudes on Friends rich to support that kind of habit. And yeah, again, poor people for the win. We got to do regular street drugs. Just got to roll the dice.
I guess that's a win.
Yeah, man, we're doing all right.
Probably for the children that are listening, don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs. No one deserves to die.
Sorry you feel that way.
Sorry you feel that way. Oh, man.
I think we had fun today.
Today was good. And you know what? I just want to say thank you. We came in and it was like...
There's some tension.
There was some tension, but I do love you very much. And I love this podcast, and I'm glad we did this.
It was fun. It was fun. Well, and thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to get some tank tops up there. I don't know what we're going to put on it. Some submarines and maybe just do some regular old logo tanks. I you know what's funny is like because I'm the designer of all the stuff on BajaLife.style.
Yeah.
I think of like very much myself. What would I wear? And like I'm not. Well, maybe now that I've shit away like 4% of my body.
Now you're
weight,
buying the tank top.
I'm buying the tank top, but I'm not a tank top wearer, so it never crossed my mind to put one up there. But I've been told, and I will do.
Message received. Yeah, I wear a tank top. It just looks like a bra. I don't love that look.
Just
July 22nd at Big Beaver Brewing. Dex is going to tell some jokes. We got our buddy Ben. He's going to play some amazing songs. We got Natural Ensemble. Our buddy Geese is going to come up and do his thing. All for a good cause. Everything goes to the Okotoks Food Bank Association. And we've got some silent auction items from local businesses. So it's a great opportunity to not only support them, but maybe take home something cool. And like I said, it all goes to a good place. So definitely mark that on your calendars. And if you have any questions, send us an email. And if we don't respond,
Send it again.
send it again. Maybe type it in. We'll try and figure out that link on Instagram. Thanks, team.
Bye.
Tune in next episode when the rad dads a bunch of in the. It'll be totally sweet.